for stopping by the channel. This is going to be my recap and review for Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 12, episode 1. So let's get into it. I'm excited. Real Housewives of New Jersey and Atlanta are like my favorites out of all the Housewives franchises. It's something about New Jersey that's always good. Maybe it could be the fact that I love Jersey Shore growing up. I was down for them Guidos. I was down for Snooki. I was down for JWoww. I was down for Sam. I was down for everybody. Even Mike the Situation. And Paulie and Vinny. Yo. Not Ron so much, but you know, I still had love for him. But this is not why we're here. So let's get into this episode. Y'all. So the episode opens up where we see all the women with their families. We're just getting quick shots, you know. Jennifer with her new nose, Melissa with her kids, Jackie with hers. We saw Dolores, I think. I don't think we saw Marge. But we settle at Teresa's house. We see her 4 daughters. They all are cute as I don't know what. And they've grown up so like, it's crazy. It's just crazy that, like, the youngest one that's 11, I remember, like when she was brought on the show and she was, like, a baby. So it's just wild that, like, we really got to see them, like, we are still seeing them grow up, you know? So they're all outside, they're eating subs, and the topic of Louie and their uncle come up. So Teresa and Louie purchased a home in Joe and Melissa's subdivision. And but unfortunately, like, Joe and Melissa are moving out and building a new home. But Louie and her purchased that home. So they're thinking about blending the family. Louie has 2 kids. His oldest son, I don't think will be living there because he's 20. And he's like in and out, but he'll be stopping by. And then he has a youngest son who is either 13 or 14. Then you have Teresa with her daughters. And they range from the ages of 11. I think it's at 11, 14, 16, and 20. But we know Gia's now is 21 because I saw her doing shots on Watch What Happens Live with Andy and her mama. They was doing them luge shots. So, you know, they're just talking about it. The girls don't seem too jazzed about it. I think they have gotten used to it just being the 5 of them, their mom, and then their sisters. So I think to them it's like, okay, now you're introducing a man. And they, like, one of the daughters even said, we haven't had a man in our house since their dad left. So that's something that's very different for them, you know? And then I don't know how Louie's kids feel because they didn't say anything. But, like, it really is fast. Like, you only known this man for a year and then you're moving in with him. And I think Teresa just wants happiness. And I think she's at the point where she's going to get it by any means necessary. Hopefully she's not being dumb and putting the blinders on like she did with Joe, with her ex-husband. Because you can't tell me that Teresa didn't know that man was doing shady stuff. You can't. As much as Teresa has grown on me since watching Ultimate Girls Trip. But I've always been of the firm belief that, like, she knew about what he was doing. She was just blind to it. Because in my mind, I'm like, it's 50-50. Part of me is like, okay, maybe she did know he was doing them money schemes or, like, you know, doing things with money he had no business doing. The other part of me is like, girl, you knew and you was just okay with it as long as, like, you could have your nice rich things, you know? But they're like, they're still kind of uncomfortable with the whole idea, which is understandable. It'd be different if Teresa was by herself and her kids were all out or, like, in college and they could come and go as they please. But you still have 3 other kids who have to live with you because they got to go to school, like they're in high school or middle school. Same with his youngest son, because you don't know if the kids gonna like each other like that. But they gonna blend this family. Hopefully it don't end like Portia Family Matters. Okay. So then we had them talk about Joe. So last season when we saw Joe and Teresa having that big argument when they were down at the shore, and when like Melissa threw the cheese plate with her, don't throw cheese now, and it was just like, here's my thing, y'all. The girls are mad at Joe for the disparaging things that he has said about their dad. And Joe feels like he's justified in his right to say those things. And I'm more on the kids' side. I really am. I really am. So this is my thing. I don't think Joe Giudice was a saint by no means. Like, for the longest time, to me, I thought that man was the devil. Like, and he was the gray, dark storm over like the Teresa and Joe's family. But as I've gotten older and I've seen like clips of stuff, Joe played a part in it because of his insecurities as it pertains to how his family treated Joe Giudice. I honestly think Joe Gorga is just, he's envious. He was envious, and I think he still might be envious and jealous of the way in which Noni and like I don't know what they call the grandmother, but the way in which their grandparents treated Joe Giudice. Like, you could tell that like Joe Gorga was like hurt at the fact that they had such a stronger connection with this man that wasn't from them than their own son. And I think he just harbors anger and resentment for that. I also think he allowed that insecurity and stuff like that to make him distance himself from his family, because you can't blame all of that. Like, no one is gonna stop me from seeing my parents if I have the means to. Like, even if my sister decides to marry someone I don't like, I'm still gonna be in my parents' life. So it's kind of like you have to take ownership too, that you distance yourself from your family and you can't just keep blaming it on him. I also think the girls have to be realistic that they daddy for multiple years showed himself to be an ain't person. He showed it. Like, we have visible, like, we have bean footage from seasons 1 all the way till now of him not being a great person to your mama. So they have to deal with that too. But I do also understand the girls feeling some type of way of their uncle constantly saying cash money about their daddy. It's like, at the end of the day, that is their dad, and they still have a relationship with him, even with him being over across the pond in the boot in Italy. Like, he's in Italy, but we still see, like, we've seen them go to Italy and be with their dad and meet his girlfriend. We've seen them have constant conversations with their father, even though he got deported. So it's not like he just went over to Italy and vanished. I'm also not saying he hasn't said anything disparaging about Joe and Melissa, because he talked trash about Joe and Melissa. So honestly, there's blame on each side. The only people who can't really be blamed are the kids, but their feelings do matter in the situation. So I feel like Joe, being in his like 40s or 50s, should and has to be able to be the bigger person and talk to them kids. So you can't be mad, especially once they come of age. Like, Gia is 21, and then the other kids are like 16 and 14. So it's not like they're gonna keep biting their tongue talking to you about their daddy, because at the end of the day, that's their dad, bruh. Like, I just was like, yeah, you gonna have to let that go. And then his text message towards them, I was like, he's so dramatic. And it's just, he act like he in a Sopranos soap opera. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. Good guys always finish last. Shut up. You 50-something. Shut up. So next we see is Dolores and her kids and them renovating that house. They still are renovating that house. Mind you, I just feel like Dolores and them kids just need to move into that townhouse. That townhouse was lovely. Like, I loved her townhouse. But she promised her kids, like, once they were like still getting themselves established, that they could come home, live rent free, and get back on their feet. We found out that her daughter graduated vet school, so congratulations to her. I got friends in vet school. I know it's a struggle. Mind you, she got too many dogs. She has way too many dogs. And I know, looking at them dogs, you can tell that all of her dogs are island dogs. I think they said she went to Ross University, which is a vet school in St. Kitts. And the island is like packed with like stray dogs, or just, they call them island dogs. And I know a few veterinarians and vet students who like end up adopting the island dogs as their own, and then when they come back over here to the States, they be having like 5 or 6 dogs. So she was over there. So again, congratulations to her. We find out that little Frankie is still working with Louis, and things have been going good. He's enjoying real estate. We find out that Big Frank is, you know, living his best life. He got him a boo, and Dolores is not happy. Mind you, I'm looking at Dolores like, sis, why does it matter that Frankie, like Big Frank, got a girl? Like, you're still with David. Because if you don't know, Dolores and David break up, and she's now with a different person, and she seems a lot more happier. Because it just seems like David just did not want to grow, and she was ready to like really grow her life. So I get it. So she mad. She throwing shots, like slick shots at the new girl. And I don't think it's because Dolores still has feelings for Frank. I feel like her and Frank have like a best friends relationship. And I think she's just mad because he's preoccupied and doing all his other time with this new chick. And she like, but that's my friend. We then move over to Marge. And mind you, y'all, Marge's house is ugly. I don't care what nobody says, it's ugly. And as much like flack that Giselle gets about how ugly her house is, Marge should get the same amount of dirt. She should, because like flack, because like that house is ugly. There's certain aspects of Marge's home that is nice, where you're like, okay, I can see where you going with it, and like I get it. But then she messes it up. She messes it up by adding like ugly furniture with ugly patterns, and I'm just like, you could do so much better. I've seen so many people on Twitter make mention that like Marge's homes gives like 70 porno vibes, and it does. It's an ugly house on the inside. Like like I said, there's certain, like her kitchen is really nice, and it's like, but there's certain things in the kitchen that it's like it's distracting, and then when you get to the den area, it's the same way. It's not nice. It really isn't. Jackie comes over, and then they start discussing the Louis video. Y'all know I'm gonna feed that video in. Mind you, I didn't get homoerotic vibes. Everyone that I've been seeing on Twitter, and even on some of the videos of like recaps that I've seen, people are like, it gives homoerotic. And it's like, it doesn't give me homoerotic. Honestly, y'all, it gives me cult vibes. It really does. And that might be because of everybody on the boat looked dehydrated and sunburnt to hell. And I watched this one documentary about this like yoga group that was made mention to be like likened to a cult, where what they would do is they would do hot yoga, but then they would restrict everybody from getting water and things of that nature, and people would like go delirious. So they were easier to like manipulate and stuff. And that's what it gave me. It didn't give me homo vibes, because I could tell everyone had on like bottoms, but it gave me very like, we in a cult. We is in a cult. But like Jackie and them bring up the video. Then they also talk about last year's reunion when Kim D made mention that like supposedly Louis hasn't been the greatest to his ex-girlfriends. There might be like allegedly like some like physical altercations that they've had, but no one has like come out and said it like set in stone. And I don't think anyone has found like any documentation that like he like was arrested for it. Marge feels like Teresa is like romanticizing her relationship, and to a certain extent, to me, I think Marge is correct. I think Teresa is finally at a point in her life where she just wants to be loved and happy, and she wants all of that. And I think that is why she is very much so like, y'all not about to pop my love bubble. Like, I'm happy. Get thee behind me, Satan. Pretty much vibes. They bring up Jackie. They said that they don't like Jackie. They basically think she's fake. She's an illusion. She got froggy diamonds, and like she's not a good person. Here's my thing. I think Jackie's dumb. I think Jackie is dumb, because you can't tell me, I'm sorry, y'all. You can't tell me that like Marge wasn't the one that made that rumor. To me, Marge and her husband is messy. Like, Marge's Joe is the Peter Thomas of this franchise, because you cannot tell me that she's not the home that rumor came out of. They all like to bypass that whole situation that happened at Guys Night, where Joe last season basically said that everybody be talking about it. But now all of a sudden, Jennifer's trying to come in between our relationship. No, Jennifer kind of was just like, girl, it seems like y'all the one that started the rumor. And I think she right. I really do. And that's not me, because I do like out of the cast, I goes up for Miss Jennifer. But to me, I really do think Marge is the reason why the rumor really got spreaded in the first place. Because she was too on pins and needles when Teresa came over to have that conversation with Jackie, because I think she was really waiting for Teresa to out her about it, because I do feel like Marge is the reason why that rumor kept coming. We then go over to Melissa, Tiki Barber, Tracy, Joe. They got out to dinner. I'm sick of Joe and I'm sick of Melissa constantly using Teresa as a storyline. Can we talk about your failing comedy show? Because it's not good, y'all. When I tell you, you can look at clips, just find some clips online. The last clip I saw about Joe doing that whole house husbands Atlantic City tour. It was crickets. Nobody was laughing. It was so much dead air. I got uncomfortable and I felt bad for the man. The secondhand embarrassment was so real. But we all know Tiki Barber is a retired football player for the Giants. They mainly bring up Teresa and Louis, how Joe feels like there's so many red flags. In the beginning, he thought he was great for Teresa, but now he doesn't know. And same old. They don't think Louis is good for Teresa. They feel like there's something wrong, and they feel like Teresa just doesn't want to acknowledge the video, because everybody is talking about this video. One thing I am gonna say about this little sit down with Tracy and Tiki are full of sugar honey iced tea, because her trying to romanticize how they got together, y'all. They her talking about when we got together, when we were dating, he was filing for divorce, or he was saying, no, he wasn't. No, this is my thing. If you gonna get on this platform, be like Marge. Tell the truth. Tell it you are a mistress, girl. You are a mistress. He was cheating on you. He was cheating on his wife while she was 7 months pregnant with their twins when he got with Tracy. And I'll link below the articles and everything. We know what it is, girl. Just be honest. Bro. Be honest. At Jennifer's home, they're having a family dinner. We see everybody, all the kids, Bill, and we also see the grandfather. We find out that she got her nose done while she was in Turkey, when she was going over there to visit her brother, her new nephew, and his wife. The mom was there as well. I think they said the mom is still in Turkey. And we found out, they had a lot of beef going back and forth, especially with how Jennifer was dealing with the mom and dad not being cool anymore, and the sad things we found out about the mom, getting married at such a young age. I think she said she was 16 or 15 or something. She was still she was young. She was high school or early adulthood age. And basically she said she saw her mom. All she could do is run up to her and hug her. They started crying, and they basically said they gonna move past this. The youngest daughter, Olivia, was so excited. She was happy that they were good. And then we start talking about going to Teresa's party. So Teresa is deciding to have a welcome to summer. Mind you, while they were filming, they film Real Housewives of New Jersey always films at the end going into summer. They always film around I think May or April, or those types of times, so they can have fun and be at the shore and stuff like that. So she's talking about going to the party. She tells Bill she doesn't know how it's gonna be, because Melissa, Margaret, and Jackie got beef with Jennifer. Jennifer thought everything was okay, after the reunion. Like, she thought everything was fine. Like, she was like, I thought everything was good. But then Melissa went on a rant, and I remember that rant. Melissa went on Twitter, and not Twitter, on Instagram, and posted this long IG patch basically calling a Jennifer a liar and a fraud and all of this stuff. And then you had in the comment section Jackie and Margaret like co-signing and saying their things. So then Jennifer went back at them, calling Margaret a snake and calling Melissa and Joe like crooked, because you know, we all know the rumors swirling around Joe talking about he really allegedly don't be paying people, or he lies about the jobs that he does when it comes to construction. So she was just kind of like, I don't know what I should do. And Bill was just like, well, we're going to the party. Just like, what are you, like, you know, just try to protect yourself. My thing is, I don't think this, like, they're trying to make this thing like so one-sided, like Jennifer just be attacking Marge, Melissa, and Jackie, where it's like y'all go tit for tat, but Jennifer is just better at going below the belt. Like Jennifer told y'all attack me, I retaliate, and I go to the pits of hell, and then I'm the bad person. And I'm like, I kind of agree for Jennifer. If you're gonna argue with me, you have to be able to argue with me. That means you're gonna have to be okay with me going for your neck every time we're arguing, if that's how I respond to arguments. And I think it also ties into the fact that, like, I remember when Jennifer's daughter was getting bullied, Jennifer talked about being bullied. So I really think Jennifer has created a mechanism for herself where she's just like, I'm going to back you off of me and let you know don't ever try it again, because she's been there where she has been ganged upon and bullied. And she even said, like, it feels like 3 against 1, like I'm clicked up on, because like Teresa and Dolores don't really be helping Jennifer out like that, especially Dolores. Teresa might dip her toe into the fights, but Dolores will sit back and just remain in the, like, just be sitting there all neutrally. So then we switch over to Melissa and Joe. They're having a conversation Teresa's on the phone with Joe. They acting like they not going to this pool party because Teresa is mad at Joe about what he did on his comedy strip, like, tour, where someone in the audience asked about the whole video with Louis. And Teresa to Joe at the comedy show, it was like, I guess, like Q&R section. Is it Q&R? No, Q&A. Answer and question and answer segment. And someone asked, like, oh, how do you feel about Louis and all these things? And Joe responded like, I miss Joe Giudice. And it rubbed Louis the wrong way, and it made him upset, which I understand. So now all of a sudden he talk about he doesn't want to go to Teresa's like summer, like welcome to summer party. And Melissa was like, I feel so bad for you, babe. It's okay, babe. And I'm like, he's like, it's weird for him to be such a like Neanderthal, but then be so dramatic like a kid. Like, it's weird. Like, he wants to be like this boisterous, like alpha male kind of like, you know, I'm the man type stuff. But then he needs women to like coddle him. Cause I'm just kind of like, what you said hurt the man's feelings. If you think what you did wasn't wrong, stand in it and go. If you think what you said to your nieces wasn't wrong, stand in it and go. Like, you're like, yeah, he get on my nerves. He gets on my nerves, y'all. That man irks me sometimes. It's Teresa's summer party, you know, welcome to summer party. Everybody shows up. There were awkward moments. You know, Dolores was trying to get, like, I don't know. Honestly, y'all, them talking about the video with Louis, and it was annoying after a while. I'm going to just say it. I'm going to just tell the truth. It was annoying for me after a while, because I was like, when Louis shows up to the party, nobody questions him about said party. Mind you, that fine white pool boy was there, that pool man, looking good with that salt and pepper comb over. I said, Teresa, you effed up, because you could have had that one. You could have had that one. But no, it was just annoying because Louis shows up to the party and nobody asks him about the video. Everyone keeps talking around it. Everyone keeps like going towards Teresa, asking Teresa how she feels about it, when I'm like, you have the person here who y'all are having these issues with. Why not ask him about said video? Because if I was there, I would do that. I'd be like, hey, yo, Louis, come here. What was that on the beach about? What was that video on the beach about? Like, I would ask you that. But none of them are asking that. They're just dancing around it, coming to Teresa, saying like, Teresa is oblivious. She needs to make like address the video. And mind you, when I was watching it, because I just watched it, at first, I was like, I thought the video was geared towards Teresa. When we found out that it was towards his ex-girlfriend, I was like, why does she need to say anything? It was towards his ex-girlfriend. Unless the ex-girlfriend is going to come out and be like, I don't forgive you and you did this to me, then why are we talking about this video? Is the video cringy? Hell yeah. It is horrible. But it's like, it wasn't directed towards Teresa. So why do y'all care? So Jennifer's there, and like Melissa, Margaret, and Jackie are talking about her nose, like her nose being done. They're like, Jackie's first thing is like, it looks horrible. It looks horrible. Then you have Margaret and them saying the same thing. Margaret was like, oh, she was cute before she got that done. And here's my thing. And this is my thing. I'm never not going to talk about someone having some bad work done. This is not Leah. But they can't speak. Melissa has had noticeable work done. Like, you can get on the computer, type in like season 2 or season 3 of Real Housewives of New Jersey, and it is a drastically different person. Like, she still looks like Melissa, but Melissa can shut the hell up, because we know Melissa done probably had 6 or 9 surgeries done on that face, okay? Then Margaret, you done got your titties done. They look hard as rocks. And we know you done got something pulled back. So cut it. And then Jackie to me, like, really, like, that blew me. Because this is the same person who, when she got on the season, she talked about having body, like, disorder, like, having body dysmorphia disorder, and being, like, either anorexic or bulimic. And I'm like, how dare you talk about someone getting work done when you had you have an eating disorder that has stuck with you. Like, you were doing a lot of stuff to your body so you could be like readily accepted by society, or you had a mindset of like saying, there's something wrong with my body and I need to fix it. And you went as far to have an eating disorder. So for you to be like, it looks horrible, I'm like, bitch, you look like, honestly, I was gonna say something real nasty, but I'm gonna be nice. But honestly, none of y'all look the same. None of y'all look the same for y'all to say that. And the thing about it is, I don't want this to be a whole like everybody gangs up on Jennifer season, because I don't like those types of season where everybody gangs up on one person. But it is giving very much so like we're the 3 of us against one. Because like Jennifer said when she was having her discussion with Jackie, she's always by herself. Like, Teresa and Dolores don't really be jumping in. Teresa might jump in, but ultimately Jennifer is by herself when she goes up against the 3 of them. And like, she holds her own. Like, she really does. Like, she was tearing up, but I think she knows like Teresa and Dolores don't have her back. Low key, it seems like Dolores don't even like Jennifer like that. Like, she really don't like Jennifer like that. And I think Jennifer is coming to the realization that like she really is by herself. Like, she cool with Teresa, but ultimately she's by herself. And so like, next thing you know, the big thing that everybody wants to talk about is how Marge basically blasted Jennifer. Like, we just gonna call it what it is. So Jackie and Jennifer are having a conversation and they're talking. Jennifer wants to know why her and Jackie have an issue, because she thought her and Jackie were cool. Well, Jackie was like, well, you tried to come between me and Marge is like my best friend. And this is my thing. She can't come between a relationship that's already like solidified and straight. The issue is, you slick believe that Marge probably was talking cash money ish about you and your husband, because Marge does that, and so does Joe, her husband. So I'm just kind of like, you believe it slightly, and you be stupid not to, because I really do think that Joe and Margaret were the ones that were like running their mouths. Secondly, all of a sudden, what's it called? Margaret comes up, and then Margaret and Jennifer going back and forth. Margaret was like, you never know when, like, because Jennifer was like, I'm not apologizing to you because you and me go back and forth. So what's the issue? And Margaret was like, you never know when to stop. Then she says she thinks Jennifer is unhappy. Jen was like, no, I'm happy with my life. My husband has given me like things where I don't have to, like, money wise, I don't have to worry about taking care of myself. Like, I can be the best mother I want to be to my kids. So I am happy. And then Margaret's like, you're not being honest. You're not being honest. And Jennifer was like, who are you to doubt my honesty? Then she was like, your husband has made mistakes in the past. And she was like, what mistakes? Like, what mistakes? And then, are you mad? And then Jennifer's like, you're mad because I called you a snake? And then all of a sudden, that's when Marge busts out that Bill had an affair with his office manager, and that's why he quit his job 2 years ago. Then Jennifer rebuttal to it was like, no, bitch, he had an affair with a pharmaceutical tech. Like, if you gonna spray my tea, get the shit right. And I said, that's why I like Jennifer. I know a lot of y'all are like, a lot of people are like, that wasn't a clear, but to me it was, because I'm with Jennifer. If you gonna spray me, tell the story straight, heifer. Let it be known straightly. So then Jennifer is like shook. And mind y'all, so like I read this article. Jennifer didn't tell nobody. Like in the interview I saw, nobody knew. She didn't tell her mom. She didn't tell her sisters, her brothers, her closest friends. Nobody. So when Marge said that, it took her by surprise. And even Jennifer said that, like, you know, I just dealt with it. I was pregnant at the time and we moved past it. And I think the thing about it is like Jennifer, like what we're going to see throughout this whole season is Jennifer actually dealing with her marriage, because she, in the interview and I'll link below the links below about Tiki and Jennifer never dealt with it. Like, she just accepted it. She was about to have a baby and she just moved on. And by the time when she was about to have a baby, I think they had already had 2 kids. And mind you, the affair happened like almost 10 or 11 years ago. So they seem in a happier place. Cause I'm not like, I mean, I know people make mistakes in relationships all the time, but like, it was a shock. Like you could definitely tell Jennifer was like caught off guard by it. And even Teresa was like, because Teresa didn't know because Jennifer didn't tell anybody. So I think this season is going to be interesting. I really do. I'm down for the ride. You know, I love the shore. I love Jersey. We get into it. So drop down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, remember to be bravely authentic. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.